Alcaraz is fresh off his victory in Beijing. He's flown over in a private jet with Jannik Sinner, and now they're in Shanghai, the Masters event where Novak Djokovic returns. It's a big one. This is our draw reaction and some previews.
Hey, welcome back, tennis fans. It is the Shanghai Masters and Djokovic fans. That's right, he is back. Come on. I can't wait to watch Djokovic back on a tennis court. How competitive is he going to be? We're going to go through all of his potential route to the final, and we'll be speaking about Alcaraz and Sinner after their epic final in Beijing. And now they're going head-to-head again, trying to get to another final to compete for the best player on tour in 2024. Yeah,
that's right. Djokovic is back, and he's the number 4 seed for this event. It's not very often we'll say that Djokovic is a 4th seed. At least he is a seed. And we're going to go through the draw. Apologies, this video is, of course, very late. There's been a lot going on. We've still not quite recovered from Alcaraz Sinner Mania the other day. Brilliant final between two fantastic players. I think the level was probably averaged out at like an 8, so there's still room for a lot more with these two, and I'm excited to see what the future holds, because there's been a lot of talk in the media, and I don't know if you want to start with this one, talking about the Alcaraz and Sinner compared to the previous era of Roger, Novak and Rafa, and it is Mats Wilander, and he said that nobody's played a higher level of tennis than Sinner or Alcaraz at their best. He said, I hope Roger, Novak and Rafa are not listening, but in terms of level, when Sinner and Alcaraz are at their best, there is no way anyone has ever played better tennis. And I thought this is a good place to start because it's fresh off what we've just watched.
Yeah.
But I think it's total nonsense, in my opinion. I would say this is very reactionary, it's very recency bias, and
Definitely.
You're forgetting the last 20 years of tennis and some of the magical moments them three have produced. And not just moments, matches. I'm talking 6-hour finals, 7-hour finals, ridiculous battles on court where we've seen the highest level of consistency with players not making mistakes for sets and hours on end.
Yep.
I wouldn't even say that we've ever really seen Sinner and Alcaraz, apart from that first US Open one. Is it a quarter-final or a semi-final in 2022?
Yeah.
Well, you know the one I'm talking about anyway, when all through the night. That was a really good, high-level, consistent affair. Aside from that, it seems like, in my opinion, that all of the other matchups have been really interesting and exciting, but there's just been one player who's better on the day than the other overall. And we've not seen both players at their ultimate best going at each other. I thought Sinner had a few more levels, and I thought Alcaraz the other day hit some really bad lows and looked terrible in times in that final. So I think it's a crazy statement, and people need to just calm down a little bit. You can't get too carried away. Show the big three, the GOATs of tennis, some more respect. They deserve it. They've done it over a consistent longevity period, and it's not the same.
Definitely not the same. I mean, Mats Wilander needs to... I think he's got a bit overexcited there with this comment. And yes, it is great to watch them. They are, at the moment, the match of the whole entire world of tennis. If you're going to say, oh, I'm going to have to introduce tennis to somebody right now, you would send them to go watch that matchup. A young person trying to get into the sport, I think that is the match you want to see. But I would also tell them, how about you go back and watch some of the old ones? Because even still now, if I'm flicking through YouTube or anything like that, and I come across like a Nadal Federer or a Djokovic Federer or a Djokovic Nadal, I'll sit there and I'll watch it, and I'm mesmerized by the level that those players played against each other. And that, like you said, it is consistent over the course of about 15 years or something. This is just the start. This is not even the best that they're going to be. And you expect generations to get better. like as time goes on anyway, as like science and as technology gets better, you expect the players' physiques to get better, training methods to get better. So it is natural that you would expect eventually they may become better tennis players than the last generation. But now, to say it, I think it's a bit too early, a bit too premature there from Mats Wilander. And let's calm down a bit. It wasn't a 10 out of 10 from either player on the day. I thought it was a great final, and I made it more competitive, the fact it wasn't just consistent from both players, because you didn't know which way it was going to go, all the way up to the final tie-break. 3-love up, then lost 7 points in a row. So, yeah, it was anybody's match, and I like the fact that they have close matches because it makes it more interesting for the neutral.
Definitely. Novak Djokovic, let's respect him. And there was madness when he arrived.
Yeah, there was.
He was being flocked by hundreds of people and fans. We saw a video on his TikTok a few days ago wearing a Lacoste green outfit, dancing around. He seems to just be taking everything quite lightly in his stride. I think he's here just he said how he loves China. He loves the dumplings. That's the reason he wants to be here. His focus isn't on Masters events. It's not on any events, not even the Tour finals. It is Grand Slams and representing Serbia in the Davis Cup, for example. And that's where his headspace is at. He's not so bothered about trying to get into the Tour finals and get these extra points. He's living in the moment, enjoying himself. He's already done and completed every single achievement in tennis to date. And he's here just enjoying it and along for the ride, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, I'm not even sure how much that he's going to be invested in this tournament. I'm happy that he's there, but you've got to remember that this is the first time that he's been there for, I think it's about 5 years as well. Obviously, we had the long hiatus because of COVID, that type of thing, but he still didn't play it, I don't believe, last year either. So it's a long time coming. Obviously, he was the champion. He's a 4-time champion and champion back in 2018. But I think this is sort of like not a farewell tour, but I feel like he has to play like every event like one more time. Do you know what I mean? Before he finally hangs up the racket. And because he hasn't played there for a while, I think he owes it a little bit to go out to Asia, give something back, because he's a very, very giving guy. Goes back, gives a lot back to the fans. And like you said, being mobbed by all of the fans there, he just takes it in his stride. I mean, it's just a normal day at the office for Novak Djokovic.
He's there for the dumplings and the good vibes and having a good time, hit a few tennis balls, see what he can do. And like you say, he's won this event many times in the past. And he's got a few little statues. And I don't know if you've seen them. So this is only something that happens in Shanghai. And each champion has the privilege of being enshrined in statue form in the style of a traditional Chinese warrior. I think it's so cool.
Yeah.
I think more tournaments should do some different things like this. I think they're very much like the players as well. It's nothing like that Roland Garros one of Rafael Nadal. Do you know outside Roland Garros, the Rafael Nadal looks nothing like him, that metal creature. These look very much alike the players. And we've got some music. But yeah, let's have a look at some of them. So we've got Hurkacz, we've got Medvedev, Federer.
I like
it looks really small, but I like it. Murray. Where's Djokovic?
It does look small, doesn't it? So it's just the little legs, I think, that they put on him.
The Federer one looks particularly small. You've got Djokovic. He looks quite cool. And probably Davydenko. I think you're going backwards, isn't it? Now Bandian.
I think the video goes backwards, to be honest.
Hewitt, with a hat. That's quite cool. Yeah. So who's going to have their little statue? Who do you think would look good in the statue? I think Alcaraz would be perfect. Do you not think?
I think
he's made for a statue.
He definitely is. I mean, we can have a look through the draw and maybe pick out some other players that could potentially look good. I think Tsitsipas may look quite good as a statue. I'd like to see him on there.
The Greek vibes.
The Greek god. Has a little bit of that. I'm quite interested to look through this draw, though. I know that we didn't bring like an actual draw preview for this one, and I will still be putting out a player roulette on the Patreon for all of the Patreon members, so there's a chance to win a prize for everybody there. But yeah, we've had a first round. It's nearly finished. Djokovic still doesn't know who his his second round opponent is, because the first round between Mickelson and Bu Yongchao Kete is going to be on tomorrow, or in the early hours in the UK. So we'll find out who Djokovic plays after that match. I mean, I'm hoping it's Bu, to be honest, because after his performance in Beijing, the crowd are really, he's going to be on the radar now. I mean, if he wasn't before, I mean, the Chinese fans really get behind their players, and the crowd was rocking for Bu in that match. So can't wait to see it.
It would be a really tough start for Novak Djokovic.
So tough.
Let's start with his route through. Because
Sure.
I know you've documented that, and like you say, we don't know who the first match is going to be, but most likely you'd expect it to be Bu the way he's playing. Then you've got Kaboli or Pericard, who I believe has actually gone out. So
Wawrinka knocked him out, didn't he?
yeah, we'll speak about that in a second. TFO, Bublik, Rublev or Dimitrov in the quarters, Zverev, Fritz, and then either Sinner or Alcaraz in the final. So the good news for Novak Djokovic is he is on the other half of the draw to Sinner and Alcaraz. Very fortunate there. That means he's got Zverev on his side, and that would be a tough semi-final. But I think there's some tough matches along the way. And I have a feeling Kaboli, he struggles with some Italians. What was it? Luca Nardi beat him this year. Kaboli is better than a Luca Nardi, that's for sure. He's having a really good period, and I think that is going to be a tough match. Let's see if he can get through it. But there's plenty of quality players along the way. Rublev, we've seen when he is on, can beat Novak Djokovic too. So
for me,
fascinating to see.
For me, Bu is tougher than Kaboli.
I disagree. I
Well,
think Bu will get a bit rattled. Kaboli is a better player than Bu, definitely.
I think Kaboli, there's a lot of errors in his game. He has a very good
So you're telling me
firepower.
Bu's better than Kaboli?
Based upon recent form, this recency bias.
Recent what?
In
the
China,
last event?
in China, I think Bu is
don't
better
talk
than Kaboli.
nonsense. Don't talk nonsense. You're talking off one event we've just watched.
Yeah,
Kaboli is a better player than Bu.
In China, Bu is a better player than Kaboli.
In China, based off one event.
Yeah, but look how good he was. That's what I mean. If Bu brings that same level, if you saw the way he played against Jannik Sinner, he was literally nip and tuck with Jannik Sinner in that match, and it didn't go away.
And so Bu can only play at this level in China, is that right?
We'll see, but this is a good place to start. That's all I'll say. And he's been treating us, hasn't he, to a little interview where he told us how to pronounce all the Chinese players' names as well. So I've been listening to that. Hopefully we get a bit better at pronouncing their names. Bu's quite an easy one to pronounce, though, so hopefully we can get a few more like that. I can pronounce Wu and Bu pretty well. Any others in there?
I've not watched the video. I know you sent it to me, and I apologise. I've not actually watched it. It's one of them ones you sent, and I never got around to see it. And so I'll have a look afterwards. We touched on Petchi Pericard and the fact that he's gone out. He lost to Stan Wawrinka in straight sets, 2 tie breaks, and the reason why this is significant is because Stan has become the oldest man to win a Masters 1000 match since Ivo Karlovic at Indian Wells.
Evo.
It's amazing that he's still producing big results at big tournaments at his age, and I think you touched on it earlier.
Yeah, it's amazing.
You never know. Next year, if he's still playing, he could be one of the legends that replaces Rafael Nadal in this Saudi Six Kings event.
Well, Six Kings Slam, that's one of the next things I wanted to bring up on this episode as well, because there's part of me that, we're talking about Novak Djokovic, his return. We know that Alcaraz and Sinner, they've just been to a final in Beijing. Sinner pretty much, he doesn't really need to do anything here in Shanghai. He's probably pretty much guaranteed world number 1 this year. Do you risk going all out if you're one of these players in the Six Kings Slam and potentially getting injured in Shanghai and not being able to collect your 1 million, potentially more, potentially $6 million for winning the Six Kings Slam?
I think they'll all collect the 1 million irrelevantly,
because you want to win it,
they're going to turn up regardless of what you're saying there. They'll be there. But I know what you mean. They've not really got much to gain, them players, because they've already qualified. They don't need to. The people who I think have a lot at stake, believe it or not, is Novak Djokovic, Andrei Rublev, Casper Ruud, Taylor Fritz, Grigor Dimitrov, Tommy Paul, Stefano Tsitsipas. And I'd probably end the list there. Maybe you could include Setti and TFO as well.
I disagree with Djokovic, to be honest. I think that he would have more an eye on. I think that this is sort of.
But he does have a lot at stake. He's got the ability to go far in this event, avoiding Sinner and Alcaraz. And if he can get to the final, it really helps his claims to get into the tour finals.
I think he'd rather just have the winter off, to be honest. I think he's even said it. He doesn't even care about it anymore. He just cares about slams and.
There's one thing saying it, but I still feel like he'd want to be in it. I don't know if I believe it.
He's changed his list. He said he only cares about 3 things now: slams, playing for Serbia, and the Six Kings Slam.
And dumplings.
And dumplings and speaking Chinese. That's what he loves. I mean, the man of many talents. I can't wait. I hope none of those players get injured, because I want to see that proper full-on Six Kings Slam. I don't know. I'm sometimes more excited about it than this tournament, to be honest. But that's a bit sad, because this is a big Masters 1000. But that's a new thing we've never seen before. It is a bit weird that Nadal's already in the semi-final. Don't know if I agree with that.
Yeah, I'm not as excited as you are. I'm more excited for Shanghai, a proper tennis event. And Jose Morgado's put out a nice tweet which highlights some of the really good, fun second-round matches in Shanghai.
Oh, nice.
So the big one is Alcaraz Shang.
Yes.
We've got Tsitsipas Nishikori. And I watched that first match with Nishikori. It was a really good one against... She was it now. I watched it. I literally watched it the other day. It was quite good. I enjoyed it.
Nishikori versus Navone.
Navone looked... He was so close to coming back into it. It was a fantastic match between good players. Baez Monfils, we've got Runa Berrettini, Shelton Shapovalov,
Runa Berrettini,
Massetti Goffin, Kaboli Wawrinka, Rublev Mensik, Mahac Davidovich Fokina,
Runa gets
potentially
no
Djokovic
favours.
Boo.
Runa, I'm in terrible job for him. He might do him a favour. Not going to get injured during this tournament. Might just go out straight away.
Runa, I think, will crash out early and focus on just the money in Saudi.
I mean, you've got to make it while you can, I think, that money, because I don't know if he's going to be invited back next year if he is in the rankings where he is this year. He's been lucky to get in, to be honest.
Part of me thinks Shang might beat Alcaraz.
I mean,
Tournament blues. Alcaraz can have an off day. It's definitely possible.
And it's after the US Open as well. He sometimes has a dip. You never know. It could be now that the dip comes. He says there's too much tennis on tour.
Exactly, and he might just be focusing on that.
Six Kings Slam
in the previous tournament, we saw all the big seeds just advance through. There's pretty much all of the top 4. I think, who was it? Rublev, maybe the one who lost out towards the end. This event, I have a real strong feeling we're not going to see the big seeds at the back end of Shanghai.
What about Tsitsipas, Nishikori?
Could we see some other names, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Turkey Al Sheikh might be saying you get a little extra bump if you go out early in Shanghai. You never know. Money talks. But let's have a look at the draw, just because it's interesting to see who's in everybody's section. We can go through. Obviously, the Sinner section, that's the first quarter. He does have Tsitsipas in there, like we were just saying. Nishikori will be his next opponent. On his side, he has Ben Shelton, Arthur Fees as well, who just won a tournament. Looks in great form. Absolutely brilliant player who's like rising through the rankings. Beat Ugo Humbert, I believe, in Tokyo. So he's in good form. Not somebody you want to come up against. I think Sinner looks fairly safe, though, on this side. I think up until Medvedev, to be honest. Medvedev's the real challenger in that quarter.
Yeah. And I think, I'm going to say it now, if I have to, we might as well pick a winner for the quarter. I reckon we'll get the Sinner-Medvedev match. And this one will be of favourites. And I think Medvedev will beat him.
Whoa. I like it.
Who are you going for? Sinner to advance?
I mean, it's got to be really, isn't it? I mean, it's the safe bet. Well, did it last time. You did it in the US Open, didn't you? Saw how that one went. Anyway, right. So on to the Alcaraz section. You've got him going out in the second round to Shang.
No, I don't have him going out, but I think it's going to be a tough match. I don't see Alcaraz winning this quarter. I think it's going to come from a different name, and
it's not a bad quarter though, is it? To be fair, it's actually
it's a winnable one. It's a lot easier. I think it's easier than the Sinner one.
Yeah, definitely.
I just have a feeling that there's going to be a spanner in the works, and whether that's going to come from a Casper Ruud, someone who has a big incentive, who could surprise some players. I'm actually I'm going to pick Casper Ruud to win this quarter.
I feel like you're just going out there on all of these.
No, I've said it before. I truly believe that Shanghai is going to pull some weird results that we're not expecting.
Well,
I think I've seen the players. I think Sinner and Alcaraz, they've been doing so much media work in China. They've just come off playing a big match in a final. You're not going to get them to just go all the way to the semis again, in my opinion. Of course, it is on paper what's going to happen, and that's what people are expecting in one way. That's what you're expecting, I'm sure. But I'm on here to say my opinion
I'm on fees.
And put predictions out there. And my prediction is we're going to get a player we're not expected, and that player is going to be Casper Ruud winning this quarter.
Interesting. I'm going to throw in Thomas Mahatch to watch out for in this section.
But you're going to have Alcaraz.
Mate, he's the clear best player in this whole section by far. I mean, let's have a look at the next one. This one might get slightly more interesting. This is the Djokovic section. Yeah, that's right. This is the quarter. He is at the bottom. Rublev it always seems to be in Rublev's quarter as well, I think.
As well.
And he's never on the same half of the draw as Alcaraz or Sinner this year. Don't know how that's possible. He always seems to be on the other side. But yeah, he's not really won anything. Well, he's only won the Olympics. But yeah, anyway, like you're saying, could be Boo, Kaboli, Bublik, TFO. Who else we got? Poprin. I mean, it's a good opportunity. Yeah, Dimitrov. Good opportunity for Poprin again here, to be honest. I think that this is a very winnable quarter, to be honest.
So who's your winner of this quarter? I'll let you go first for the last two.
I'm actually going to go for Grigor Dimitrov. I think
really?
Dimitrov. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't think Djokovic is going to win this quarter. I think it would be between Rublev and Dimitrov.
Okay, and I'm going to have Rublev winning this quarter. I don't think it's going to be Djokovic either. I think we could get Rublev-Djokovic play each other, and Rublev wins that match.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Djokovic goes out before then, to be honest. That's my personal opinion. I think he's packed in this year. I think he's just there on tour at the moment. I don't know. Just there, probably protecting the family. Have you ever been to Shanghai? Let's take you there. Kids haven't been there. He's not been there in 5 years. Might have taken them over with him. Right, let's go to the fourth one. This is the Zverev one. He's the number 2 seed. And it's quite a nice little draw for him over here. He's got a bye. Then he's got qualifiers. Then he's got potentially Jordan Thompson. Gets a little bit tougher. Thompson's been having a good year. Musetti, but still Zverev the best in that up to the quarters, I'd say here. And Berrettini or Fritz?
We've not seen Zverev, have we, since the US Open, in which he lost.
Yeah.
Where did he lose? He lost to Taylor Fritz, didn't he, in the quarter-final. He played Laver Cup, but can't really read too much into that. Lost to Taylor Fritz again at the Laver Cup. So hopefully he avoids him for his sake. But he's got a really good shot here. The draw's not bad for him.
Yeah.
And it's hard to look past him.
Draper's pulled out, by the way, in case anybody
I would
wondered.
never have picked Draper.
Yeah.
So that's fine. I know
Too
he's got
hot
a few
over
issues.
there.
So who's the one at the top? Because I'm tempted by him.
Fritzy.
What was it?
Musetti or Fritz?
You got Fritz there. I'm probably going to go Fritz. I think Fritz is going to win this quarter. We could get the Fritz Zverev, but Fritz is going to beat him again. He just seems to have his number.
I don't know. Yes, I mean, Zverev's been to the final here before. He got there, lost in 2019 in the final. There's something about that Rune-Berrettini match. I've got a feeling one of them is going to win the quarter.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, I just feel like if you get the win over the other player, if
It's
Rune
like the
beats...
Zverev-Nadal one at Roland Garros.
I think if Rune beats Berrettini, he's going to be on a bit of a high, and then he'll go on to win the quarter. But if he doesn't, I think Berrettini, he's got the firepower. I think that will decide it. I'll go with a bit of a shocker. I'm going to go with Holger Rune who's going to do it. I think he's actually going to beat Berrettini, and he goes on to take the quarter.
Okay, so let's have a refresher. So the semi-finals, I've got Daniel Medvedev, Casper Ruud, and this one I've got. Go to the top.
Musetti?
Fritz versus, and who was the one of the last one?
Fritz versus Rublev, I think you had.
Fritz Rublev.
Yeah, so I've got Dimitrov versus Rune, and I've got Sinner Alcaraz.
Just them two. Yeah, they're all right.
That's the final again.
Well, I can tell you, I'm going to have Medvedev winning the first batch of semi-finals.
Nice.
And the next one is between who for me? Fritz and...
Fritz and... hang on. Fritz and Rublev.
I think it's going to be Fritz.
Oh, not Andrei Rublev.
I think I'm going for the Fritz Medvedev final, in which Medvedev wins Shanghai. I had a feeling that he's going to win this event from the beginning, so I'm going to stick with it.
I'm going to go Sinner defeats Alcaraz this time and gets one back over on him, and then I'm going to have Dimitrov making the final as well, beating Holger Rune, so we get a Sinner-Dimitrov final.
Okay, nice. Well, there we go. That is our predictions for Shanghai. Let us know yours in the comments section. It's a different kind of draw preview today. Of course, the event has already kicked off, but fascinated to hear what you guys have to say. The tennis is going to be starting soon in the UK, so I'm going to wake up tomorrow, put a bit on, and see what's happening. This is a nice graphic as well. I thought it was interesting to see the practice schedule for some of the players. And I never knew that it works like this, but you lodge it on this system online, of course, like everything nowadays, and you can select what player you want and if you want a left-handed player, a right-handed player, etc., etc. And I think it's quite cool that you just put it out there and someone can sort of match with you and be like, oh, yeah, I'll take them, I'll take this one. And you can see Alcaraz is looking for a left-handed player because he's going to be playing Jerry Shang, so that's the perfect preparation.
Yeah, I was looking.
I never knew it worked like this. Did you?
No, I didn't either. But I thought when I first looked at this, I thought it just said Tsitsipas need help. That's what I first thought. And I was like, oh, what? Who's going to hit him? What? Is anybody going to go?
He's just looking. Anyone?
What's he doing? Just looking at Alcaraz practicing.
Why don't they just have each other? They're both just looking.
Do you reckon they're there just like a couple of lonely singles at the
just waiting there on the court?
Speed dating. He's just sat there just looking.
I bet that Alcaraz one gets booked up quick.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's fighting to have a chance of that.
Chapo's like, I'll go.
Rafa gets there and warms him up.
Rafa just flies in, specially for it. Djokovic turns up and plays left-handed.
Yeah, well, enough of that. Thank you for watching, everyone. If you haven't already, please hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. I'm going to get to bed because it's midnight here in the UK. And I'll see you guys very soon.